Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. Back to you with a brief episode updating you all on what's going on potentially in Florida. Now, a few tweets have been banging around from Elon Musk and the prospect of a big project, possibly in Miami or the entire state of Florida potentially, is now quite likely, and I wanted to explore the possibilities of that happening. So, Ron DeSantis, who is the governor of Florida, very young governor, he's only about 42, 43 years old, is considering a tunnel network and has spoken to Elon Musk. Also, the mayor of Miami has also shown an interest, and he wants some tunnels underneath his city to relieve the congestion problems. And I cannot blame him, because the congestion in Miami and Florida as a whole is pretty terrible. Okay, so what does it say? So, count me in, no brainer. We would love to be a prototype city. So, it all stemmed basically from this tweet here. Battery cell production is the fundamental rate limiter, slowing down a sustainable energy future. Very important problem. So obviously this stems from Tesla's drive to increase battery production in North America and the world in general exponentially. So cars and trucks stuck in traffic generate megatons of toxic gases and particulate. But the Boring Company road tunnels under Miami would solve traffic and be an example to the world. Spoke with Ron DeSantis about tunnels last week. If the governor and mayor want this done, we will do it. So as you can see, they're on board. Mayor Suarez, he's also very young. So clearly these guys understand the importance of moving away from legacy transport solutions onto a brand new future. High speed, high efficiency, renewable options. The thread to this tweet was full of the biggest idiots, bots, lack of common sense people I have ever seen. I literally spoke to about 40 of them, and literally 2 or 3 of them got back to me, because what they said was so stupid they couldn't even come back with a comeback. Because it just had nothing. They had no comeback to it. Anyway, those are the tweets. Why Florida? Why is Florida an interesting proposition? Now, this has actually been spoken about before. I know Warren Redlick has spoken about wanting tunnels in Florida. I totally agree with him. It makes perfect sense. The traffic is awful. But the obvious reason why Florida is a good target market is because it has a high population, 21.73 million, and it is growing very quickly. I believe it's around 12 and a bit, 13% in the last decade. So it's growing over 1% per year, which is, damn good growth, really. The only state that is better than that is Texas. And obviously we are potentially getting a project in Austin as well. California, obviously the Boring Company. The Boring Company is targeting these high population states because that is where good money is to be made initially. I think in the long term they can target some of the smaller states. Obviously we had the potential project in Chicago. Chicago is, I believe it's the second largest or third largest city in the entire country. So obviously that was a good place for a project. That never happened, unfortunately. Mayor Lightfoot, you can thank for that. But Nevada, obviously the Boring Company is going to be building out a massive tunnel network there. Very sparsely populated, but obviously Las Vegas is a very popular tourist destination. Why is this all happening? Why are people starting to reach out to the Boring Company, to Elon Musk? It's because the momentum is building. People are starting to feel the need that they need to invest in brand new mass transit systems. Maybe they already have legacy systems and they're starting to either fail, or they're not delivering on the promises, or they're costing a fortune to maintain. You could name various things that are happening in various cities in the US. But the Boeing company has massive advantages over these legacy systems, and that is going to show out in the next sort of 10 years. I guarantee to you that there will be multiple projects in all those states that we've just listed below or on the previous page. So obviously one of the most important things that's happening at the moment is design work. So the major kind of design, fabrication and testing of proof rock, a continuous mining TBM, has accelerated. So they're putting a lot of time and effort into this particular TBM, and obviously it is progressing quite nicely. The Las Vegas Convention Center project has finished successfully. All the construction work, including the minor works, have now finished. They have been calibrating with various vehicles over the last week or so. They're going to continually add more vehicles and then continue to test the maximum possible throughput of that system. It's going to be around 4,400 passengers per hour. Got to make that statement correct there. Yeah, so that has obviously finished. Obviously, there's two other projects in Las Vegas that are starting. So you have the Wynn Casino project and the Resorts World project, and then also there's going to be another project that goes down to the Strip, comes back around up north of Las Vegas, and then goes to the airport. The Ontario Airport project is progressing through the design stage. Again, that's progressing nicely. That's going to be a nice proving project. It's the perfect project for the Boeing company. Nice long tunnel, two destinations, potentially lots of high speed, and you could potentially do it with a single tunnel because they're not looking for massive throughput. They're looking for around 2,000 per hour, 2,000 passengers per hour. So that'll be an interesting project when that gets started next year. Planning work for a tunnel in Austin, Texas is now underway. Obviously, this is the very initial stages of establishing what they want to build in Austin. So people in Austin are very excited about a possible tunnel network. Mass transit in Texas in general is pretty poor, but in Austin is incredibly bad. So that'll be good to see. All this momentum is building because the Boeing company has delivered in Las Vegas on the first project. People are looking at that project and they realize that this is the real deal. This company, this startup, can actually deliver high-speed mass transit. So plans for a giant Las Vegas loop are gaining traction, as I've just spoken about. It looks like planning permission for this will be granted at the end of the year, and then maybe construction will start in about 18 months' time from today. Also, this is very important, a 12-seater AEV, or Tesla mini bus, as people are referring to it as. Although I don't really like the term mini bus. I prefer to refer to it as an AEV, or autonomous electric vehicle. So it'll probably have 12 seats, maybe 10 seats. It doesn't really matter too much as long as it's in the double digits. That will be launched, and there will be obviously a version for the general public, and then you'll have a commercial version for the Boeing company and maybe other autonomous vehicle systems, and that will be launched probably not this year, maybe next year. That'll be another big launch party for Tesla, and it will guarantee a higher throughput for the Boeing company. That is very important, and it needs to happen as soon as possible. And obviously, the Boeing company, when people speak to Elon Musk and when he goes to talk to these governors and these mayors, it is easy for him to sell his product because his product is vastly superior in almost every metric from the alternatives. So the only area where typical metro systems and trains can beat the Boeing company is in throughputs. So they'll come in and they'll say, well, we've got the system and it's got a throughput of 26,000 per hour and 32,000 per hour and 27,000 per hour. The Boeing company is going to come in and it's going to be around 20, 22, 25,000 per hour for your initial system. Obviously that can be expanded with more tunnels, but that's basically the only advantage, and it is a very small advantage when you think about it, because you can just keep adding more and more vehicles to the system until you reach the set capacity that you want. And then obviously you can add more and more tunnels, and that's going to make a lot of money in fair revenue. So Other than that, the Boeing company has all the advantages. So the core advantage that the Boeing company has over metro systems, bus systems, rapid transit systems is the cost per mile. It's literally an 80% discount, if not a 70% discount. It is a lot more cost effective. So you're looking in the region of 5.4 million to 6.8 million. The reason I've given such wide bands is because the strata underneath your city could vary greatly. It could be very consistent. It could be very hard. It could be non-cohesive. You could have massive pockets of water. There's a lot of things that can change. So the cost can vary considerably. So just as a general sort of rule of thumb, the cost per mile is going to be between 5.5 to 6.8 per mile per TBM. Yeah. And remember, when I say that per mile per TBM, I say that for good reason. So the top speed, so the maximum speed that the vehicles can get up to, is somewhere in the region of 125 to 155 miles per hour. I suspect that will be set at around 140 to 144 miles per hour in the future. I think there's a lot of wear and tear at 155 miles per hour. But that is the numbers that they're using on their website, so that is what we're going to quote here. Average speed during a typical journey is around 92 miles per hour. So over, say, like a 5-mile journey, obviously you're going to have to accelerate, de-accelerate. Maybe there's some vehicles in the system that are, joining, so you might have to slow down slightly. Maybe there's some corners. So the average speed on a typical journey will be around 92 miles per hour for most autonomous electric vehicles. So in terms of the TBM, so Proofrock and maybe Proofrock version 2, the advancement rates of 65 to 90 meters per day is achievable by 2023. That's pretty damn good. So that's maybe a 30% improvement on current TBMs. The 65, the best ones, so the very, very best ones. 90 meters is almost an 80-85% improvement on the best TBMs available at this moment in time. The fares for a ride will be relatively affordable at $7 per journey. I don't think they should go cheaper than that. I think that is a fair value. Over time, I personally think they should increase that, maybe up to $10. All AVs, this is another critical one, are powered by 100% renewable energy. So there's no coal power stations, there's no natural gas. There's no diesel. Look at the train systems in most European countries are powered via diesel. Lots of carcinogenic fumes. There's none of that. It's 100% renewable energy, so it's not polluting the environment. Okay, so obviously this route or possible project in Florida, there's a lot of potential options. Miami City, Tampa, or Tampa Bay to Orlando, Jacksonville City. Jacksonville's a very fast-growing city, so that'll be interesting. SpaceX to Orlando and St. Petersburg to Tampa. Let's have a look at our map. So as you can see, St. Petersburg is here. Now, I did put an extension down here to Bradenton, but I don't. It just doesn't really make sense to me to do that kind of extension across the water there initially. Maybe in the long term, but I think starting off in St. Petersburg and then you go up here to what is called Lakeland. Look at all the lakes in this area. It looks incredible. And then across here to Orlando, and then you have Cape Canaveral, which is here. Cape Canaveral. This is where you have the NASA museum, I believe, and SpaceX have some facilities. I believe it's over here somewhere. But yeah, so you've got quite a dense collection of settlements in this area here. So you've got one here, one here, one here, one here. It looks like something there as well, but quite small. Something here, and then you kind of got something on the coast here. And the two things there. So if you could link all those places up, that's going to be quite a popular route for passengers. We're talking around 148, maybe 150, 155 miles for that journey. Money's to be made in that area. Ground conditions are reasonably good for tunnels. I'm not saying there won't be some challenges, especially in this area with lots and lots of lakes. You're going to have to do a bit of work in this area, just analysing the ground to establish that you're not going to be going into some very large pockets of water, but that's fairly easy, and obviously you can increase the depth of the tunnel when you encounter some poor ground conditions. So that's all good. So Merritt Island is something here, I believe, although it's not really an island if you look at it. It's still connected to the main part of Florida. So that's kind of central Florida. You have Miami. Obviously, Miami's quite a famous city. Miami Vice, various other things. But yeah, so it'd be north to south tunnel. You'd probably have a tunnel that runs along here and then it goes around like that. But it'd be entirely up to you how you do it. Large population density in this area. From this point here to that point here is around 100 miles. I think about here I measured it was about 94 miles. So again, that's a good place to build a loop system. There's definitely a reasonably good strata in this area again, so you're going to be able to build tunnels. The good thing as well is that that limestone underground is going to make really good boring bricks, and there's a lot of expansion in and around Miami, so maybe it could be used for residential projects in that area. Another one that I particularly like is Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a very, very fast growing city in northern Florida. It's right on the border between adjoining states, as you can see. I think that's the state line there. And it comes up here, I believe. I actually know Jacksonville because of the Jacksonville Axemen, which is a rugby league team who I've watched a few times over YouTube. Yeah, so interesting city, very fast growing. Obviously, you could have some kind of ring road or something like that, and then you can have, it'd be like spokes in a wheel, wouldn't it? So you can going in and out various angles into Jacksonville, and again, easy money to be made there. It'd be very popular. Traffic in that area is terrible. So I really hope that Ron DeSantis and Mayor Suarez talk to Elon Musk, and they can, you know, put some plans together. And maybe start off with Miami, then start off maybe in Orlando, and then work your way across to Tampa, and then to obviously the SpaceX facility there near Cape Canaveral, St. Petersburg, and then obviously maybe as that's progressing, they could start a simultaneous project in Jacksonville. They could easily build, you know, 400, 500 miles of tunnels in Jacksonville and still have lots of people demanding rides from the Boeing company. So this is the world's your oyster, really. Lots of potential. Thank you. I think this is a really interesting opportunity, and hopefully we can talk about it in the comments below, or if you want to, join our Discord server and we can have a chat about Florida in there. Also, go watch Warren Redlick's video on the Boeing company. He talks a lot about this. He's much more knowledgeable on this area than me. I've basically stolen one of the ideas for a route from him, so you know he deserves credit for that. But the Jacksonville and the Miami are kind of my number one and number two choices. Yeah, so appreciate some feedback. Drop that below. Yeah, thank you to all my patrons. You know, really appreciate all your support, especially at this very tough time. Please stay safe. Thank you for all your support. Really very much appreciated. Yeah, hit the bell icon, click the like button, and you know, stay informed about all videos that I produce. Thank you so much support these days on Twitter as well, so I'm very thankful for that. Okay, thanks for joining me on this episode, and hopefully see you on the next one. Thank you, and enjoy your day, and don't be boring. I'll see you on the next one.
Wow! This is Sparta!